Morning light cut through the gray November sky, cold and sharp. Alina Moore's breath misted in front of her as she hurried down the crowded sidewalk, her worn coat pulled tight. In her bag, a lunchbox for Daniel. Always for Daniel. The black sedan pulled up to the curb ahead. Sleek, expensive, foreign. A man stepped out, tall and commanding in a tailored suit that probably cost more than her rent. He adjusted his coat collar, phone pressed to his ear, didn't notice the black. Leather wallet slipped from his pocket and hit the pavement. Alina saw it fall. She could have kept walking. Should have, maybe. But her feet carried her forward, pushing through the stream of strangers. "Sir, you dropped this." He turned, blue eyes startling in their intensity. For a moment, he just stared at her, the wallet suspended between them. "You chased me for this?" His voice was low, almost suspicious. "I didn't know who you were. It just seemed like the right thing." He took the wallet slowly, studying her face like he was searching for something hidden beneath. "Not many people would have? It's nothing." She smiled, small and genuine. "Have a good day." She turned toward the cafe door, but his voice stopped her. "Wait, what's your name?" She looked back over her shoulder. "Does it matter?" Before he could answer, she disappeared inside. Liam Hayes stood on the sidewalk. The city rushing past him and felt something crack open in his chest. Something he'd sealed off years ago. That night, Lena sat across from Daniel in their cramped apartment, the walls thin enough to hear the neighbors arguing. Her brother looked paler than usual, his cough worse. "You okay?" she asked, pushing the plate toward him. "Always am when you're here." He smiled weakly. "Tell me about your day." "Anything interesting?" She thought of the man in the suit. Those eyes? Just the usual. But she couldn't shake the feeling that something had shifted, like a door opening that she hadn't known was there. Across the city, Liam sat alone in his penthouse, glass of scotch untouched in his hand. The skyline glittered before him, cold and distant. He pulled out his phone, made a call. "I need you to find someone for me. A woman. Works at a cafe on 5th Street. Early 20s, dark hair, kind eyes." A pause on the other end. "No, this is different." He hung up and stared at his reflection in the window. For the first time in years, the emptiness felt unbearable. 3 days later. The cafe bell chimed. Alina looked up from the espresso machine and froze. He stood in the doorway, hands in his coat pockets, looking completely out of place among the chipped tables and faded menus. "You again," she said. "Surprised? I was in the area." His lips curved slightly. "Thought I'd thank you properly?" "You already did." "Not really." He approached the counter. "I never got your name." She hesitated. Something in his gaze made her pulse quicken. "Alina, Liam, no last name. No explanation. Just a man who looked at her like she was a puzzle he needed to solve." "Can I buy you a coffee?" he asked. She glanced around the empty cafe, then back at him, one eyebrow raised. "You do realize where you are?" "Fair point," he smiled, genuine this time. "Then I'll sit quietly and let you work." He did. For 2 hours, he sat in the corner booth, watching her move through her shift with quiet grace. When a customer snapped at her over a delayed order, he made a note on his phone. By closing time, rain drummed against the windows. Alina brought him a coffee and slid into the seat across from him, exhausted. "Are you always this mysterious?" "Only when I don't want to be judged before I'm understood." "And what should I understand?" He leaned forward slightly. "That you're different. You see people? Really see them. You don't know me. Not yet." The air between them felt charged, dangerous. She stood, breaking the moment. "I need to close up." Outside, the rain had turned brutal. Alina locked the cafe door with trembling hands, her double shift catching up with her. The world tilted suddenly, her vision blurring. Strong arms caught her before she hit the ground. "Alina, Alina, stay with me."
Out.
She felt herself being lifted, cradled against warmth and the smell of expensive cologne. "My brother," she whispered, consciousness slipping. "Don't let him worry. I've got you. I promise." When she opened her eyes again, she was moving. The smooth leather of a car seat beneath her, rain hammering the roof above, and Liam Hayes holding her like she was something precious he couldn't afford to break. "Who are you?" she managed. He looked down at her, something raw and unguarded in his expression. Someone who should have walked away, but can't. The apartment building looked like it might crumble with the next strong wind. Liam carried Alina up 3 flights of narrow stairs, her weight almost nothing in his arms. A teenage boy yanked the door open, eyes wide with panic. "What happened?" She fainted. "She's okay." Liam moved past him, laying her gently on the worn couch. "You're Daniel?" The boy nodded, hovering anxiously. "Is she breathing? Should I call someone?" "She's breathing. She just needs rest." Liam looked around the apartment. Peeling wallpaper, medical bills stacked on a cluttered table, a refrigerator held together with duct tape. The weight of it settled in his chest like stones. Alina stirred, her eyes fluttering open. She focused on Liam's face, confusion giving way to embarrassment. "You carried me here? You told me about your brother. I couldn't leave you." She tried to sit up, but he pressed a hand gently to her shoulder. "Don't you need to rest?" "I'm fine. I haven't eaten much today." "Or yesterday." She looked away. "Thank you for bringing me home." "You can go now, Alina." Something in the way he said her name made her look at him. Really look. His expression had shifted, the careful mask slipping to reveal something darker underneath. "When was the last time you had a real meal?" "That's none of your business. It is now." Daniel spoke up, voice small. "She gives me everything. Won't eat until I do. Works 2 jobs and still can't afford my medication." "Daniel, don't." "Why not? He's here, isn't he? Maybe he can actually help instead of all those people who just say pretty words and walk away." Liam's jaw tightened. He stood, reaching for his phone. "What medication do you need?" "We're not charity cases," Alina said sharply, struggling to her feet despite her trembling legs. "I never said you were." "Then why are you still here?" "You thanked me. I thanked you. We're even." He stepped closer, close enough that she had to tilt her head back to meet his eyes. "We stopped being even the moment I realized I couldn't stop thinking about you." The air went still. "You don't know me," she whispered. "Then let me." Before she could respond, his phone rang. He glanced at it, then silenced it. But Alina had seen the name on the screen, Victoria. "You should take that," she said quietly. "It can wait, can it?" He held her gaze for a long moment, then turned to Daniel. "I'm leaving my number. If anything happens, if she collapses again, you call me. Understood?" Daniel nodded, taking the card Liam handed him. At the door, Liam paused. "This isn't pity, Alina, and it's not charity. It's something I can't explain yet. But I need you to trust me. I don't trust easily. Neither do I." He smiled, sad and knowing. "Maybe that's why this feels important." The door closed behind him, leaving Alina standing in the dim apartment, her heart pounding for reasons she didn't want to name. 2 weeks passed. Liam visited the cafe every day, always at the same time. They talked about everything and nothing. He never mentioned the phone call, and she never asked. But the question hung between them like smoke. Then Daniel collapsed. It was early morning. Alina had just finished a night shift when she found him on the bathroom floor, burning with fever, barely conscious. The ambulance ride blurred into harsh hospital lights and the cold smell of antiseptic. "He needs immediate treatment," the nurse said, her voice mechanical. "But we require a deposit up front." Lena stared at the bill. The numbers didn't make sense. Too many zeros? How much time do I have? An hour? Maybe 2. Her hands shook as she scrolled through her phone. No one to call. No one with that kind of money. Except she pressed his name before she could talk herself out of it. "Liam, I'm sorry. I know I shouldn't ask, but I don't know who else to call. Daniel, he's sick, and they won't treat him without." "Where are you?" "St. Mary's Hospital, but I'm on my way." 30 minutes later, he strode through the emergency room doors like he owned the building. Maybe he did. He went straight to the billing desk, spoke quietly to the staff, and handed over a card. When he turned to Alina, her face was wet with tears. She hadn't realized she was crying. Ah! You didn't have to. Yes, I did. Why? Why would you do this for us? He reached out, wiping a tear from her cheek with his thumb. The gesture was so tender it broke something inside her. Because when I'm with you, I remember what it feels like to be human. Before she could respond, a woman's voice cut through the moment like glass. How touching. They both turned. A woman stood in the hallway, elegant and cold in a designer dress. Her smile was sharp enough to draw blood. Victoria, Liam said, his voice flat. So this is where you've been disappearing to? Victoria's eyes raked over Alina with obvious disdain. I have to admit, I didn't expect you to fall for a charity case. Though I suppose everyone has a savior complex phase. Leave. Now. Not until we discuss the merger. Or have you forgotten that our families have been planning this for months? She stepped closer to Liam, possessive. Our engagement party is in 3 weeks, darling. People are asking questions about your absence. The world stopped. Alina looked at Liam, waiting for him to deny it. To explain? To say something that would make this make sense, but his silence said everything. You're engaged, she said quietly. Alina, it's not. It's not what? Real? Does she know that? She stepped back, bile rising in her throat. You paid for Daniel's treatment. We're even now. Don't come back to the cafe, Alina. Please. No, I was stupid to think someone like you could want someone like me for any reason other than entertainment. Her voice cracked. Thank you for helping my brother. But we're done. She walked away before he could see her fall apart completely. Liam stood frozen in the hospital hallway, Victoria's smug smile burning into his peripheral vision. For the first time in his carefully controlled life, he had no idea how to fix what he'd just broken, and the worst part was knowing he deserved. Every bit of Alina's hatred, 3 days of silence. Alina threw herself into work, scrubbing tables until her hands were raw, taking every extra shift available. Anything to stop thinking about the way Liam had looked at her. The way he'd lied by omission. Daniel was recovering well. Too well, the doctors said, surprised by how quickly the expensive treatment had worked. They'd be able to go home soon. That should have felt like victory. Instead, it felt hollow. The cafe bell chimed during the evening rush. Alina looked up from the register, expecting another tired customer. Liam stood in the doorway, looking like he hadn't slept in days. I asked you not to come back. I know. He approached the counter, ignoring the curious stares from other customers. But there are things you need to hear. I don't need anything from you. 5 minutes, please. The rawness in his voice made her pause. Against every instinct screaming at her to refuse, she nodded toward the back room. 5 minutes. Then you leave. The storage room smelled like coffee beans and cleaning supplies. Liam closed the door, and suddenly the space felt too small, too intimate. The engagement isn't real, he said without preamble. It's a business arrangement between our families. Has been since I was 18. I've been trying to find a way out of it for years. Then why didn't you tell me? Because I'm a coward. He laughed bitterly. Because I thought I could fix it before it touched you. I thought I had more time. Time for what? To figure out how to walk away from everything I've built without destroying my family's company in the process. Victoria's father owns 40% of Hayes International. If I break the engagement, he pulls his shares. Hundreds of people lose their jobs. My father's legacy crumbles. Lena crossed her arms. So you chose your company over being honest with me. I chose wrong. I know that now. He stepped closer. But Alina, what I feel for you is the first real thing I've felt in years. Maybe ever. That's not a lie. How am I supposed to believe anything you say? You're not. Not yet. His voice softened. But I'm ending it. The engagement, the arrangement, all of it. I don't care what it costs anymore. Don't do that. Don't throw away your life for someone you barely know. Don't you get it? He reached for her hand and she let him take it. You're not someone I barely know. You're the only person who's ever looked at me and seen just a man, not a name, not a fortune, just me. The words hung between them, heavy with meaning. I'm scared, she admitted quietly. I'm scared that this is temporary, that you'll wake up one day and realize I'm not worth what you gave up and be scared with me. Because I'm terrified too. Before she could respond, her phone rang. Daniel. He never called during her shift unless something was wrong. I have to take this, she answered. And Daniel's panicked voice filled the line. Lena, there are men here. At the apartment? They say they're from the bank. They're taking everything. Her blood went cold. What? That's impossible? I paid this month's rent. They said it's not about rent. They said the building was sold. New owner wants everyone out by tomorrow. The phone slipped from her trembling hand. Liam caught it, listened for a moment, then spoke calmly to Daniel. Don't let them take anything. I'm sending my lawyer. 20 minutes. He hung up and looked at Alina. How much do you owe? It's not debt. They sold the building. We have nowhere to go. The reality crashed over her. Everything we own is in that apartment. Then we'll fix it. She laughed, hollow. There is no we. You can't just swoop in and solve all my problems with money, Liam. That's not how this works. Then tell me how it works. Tell me what you need. I need you to go. I need to handle this myself. I need, her voice cracked. I need to not feel like a burden to someone who's already sacrificing too much. You're not a burden. You're the reason I want to be better than who I've been. The door burst open. Victoria stood there, her smile venomous. How domestic. But I'm afraid I need to borrow my fiancé. The lawyers are waiting. Lena's jaw tightened. He's all yours, Alina. Don't. Go handle your business. Mr. Hayes, I have a family to take care of. Leaving past both of them, leaving Liam standing in the storage room. Victoria's triumph radiating beside him. Outside, rain began to fall again. Alina ran through the downpour toward the bus stop, her mind racing. How would they survive this? Where would they go? A hand grabbed her arm, spinning her around. Liam stood in the rain, his suit already soaked through. I'm not letting you face this alone. You don't have a choice. I'm making one. Right now. Come with me. You and Daniel. I have properties. Empty places that sit unused. You can stay as long as you need. What do you get out of it? The satisfaction of playing hero? I get to know you're safe. That's enough. Something in his eyes made her believe him. Against all logic, against all self-preservation, she believed him. 1 month, she said finally. That's all. Just until I find something else. 1 month. They stood in the rain, the city washing away around them, both knowing it was already too late to walk away from whatever this was becoming. What Alina didn't know was that Victoria had been watching from the cafe window, and what she'd witnessed had just given her the perfect weapon. That night, Liam helped move Daniel to a guest house on his property. Victoria made a call. I need information on someone. Alina Moore. Everything. Family history, debts, secrets. I don't care how you get it. She hung up, staring at her reflection in the penthouse window. Liam thought he could walk away from their arrangement, from her. She'd show him exactly what happened to people who broke promises. By morning, she'd have everything she needed to destroy the woman who'd stolen what was rightfully hers. And Alina, settling into a home more luxurious than anything she'd ever imagined, had no idea the target on her back had just grown exponentially larger. The guest house was absurd. Floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the city, a kitchen bigger than their old apartment, beds that felt like clouds. Daniel had cried when he saw his room. Overwhelmed by space he'd never imagined having, Alina stood on the balcony that night, watching lights twinkle below, feeling like an imposter in someone else's dream. Can't sleep? She turned. Liam stood in the doorway, casual in a t-shirt and jeans. More human than she'd ever seen him. This is too much. All of this? It's just space that would sit empty otherwise. He joined her at the railing. Daniel seems happy. He's thrilled. That's the problem. Why is that a problem? Because when we leave, he'll remember what we had here. It'll make everything after feel smaller. She looked at him. You understand that, right? This kindness will haunt us. Then don't leave. Liam, I'm serious. Stay as long as you want. And what happens when Victoria finds out? When your father does? They'll think I'm some gold digger who seduced you for your money. Let them think whatever they want. I don't care anymore. You say that now? But when it costs you everything, you keep talking about cost. Like you're something I'm paying for. He turned to face her fully. You're not a transaction, Alina. You're the first person who's made me feel like living means something. She wanted to believe him. God, she wanted to. Before she could respond, his phone buzzed. He glanced at it and his expression darkened. What is it? Nothing. Just work. You're a terrible liar. Hesitated, then showed her the screen. A message from an unknown number with an attached photo. Alina and Liam outside the cafe, his hand on her face, the moment before the hospital confrontation. The caption read, "Tomorrow's headline, unless you reconsider." Her blood turned to ice. Who sent that? I have an idea. His jaw clenched. This is Victoria's style. Threaten first, destroy second. What does she want? Me. The engagement. Everything we agreed to before you existed. Lena stepped back. Then give it to her. What? If staying with me means your reputation gets destroyed, your company collapses, then walk away. I'll be fine. Stop acting like you're disposable. I'm not disposable. I'm realistic. Her voice hardened. People like you don't end up with people like me. Not in real life. This was always temporary. It doesn't have to be. Yes, it does. They stared at each other, the distance between them suddenly vast, despite standing inches apart. I should go, she said quietly. This was a mistake. She turned to leave, but he caught her wrist. Alina, please, let go. Not until you hear me. I am going to end this engagement. I am going to face whatever consequences come. And I am going to do it because you make me want to be brave for the first time in my life. So, don't you dare walk away because you think you're saving me from something. The words hit like a physical blow. She wanted to believe them so badly it hurt. Okay, she whispered. Okay. He pulled her into his arms, and she let herself sink into the embrace, pretending for one moment that the world outside didn't exist. The next morning, everything fell apart. Alina woke to find Daniel missing. A note on his bed, written in his shaky handwriting. I'm sorry. I had to. Her heart stopped. She ran through the house, calling his name, panic rising like floodwater. Liam appeared from his office, immediately alert. What happened? Daniel's gone. He left a note, but it doesn't make sense. Liam's phone rang. Victoria? He answered, and her voice dripped through the speaker. Looking for the boy? He's with me. Lovely kid. Shame about his medical condition. Where is he? Liam's voice went deadly quiet. Faith. For now. But I think we need to have a conversation about priorities, don't you? If you hurt him, I'm not a monster, darling. I simply reminded him that his medication is quite expensive, and that his sister's new living situation depends entirely on your generosity. He's a smart boy. He understood what I was implying. Lena grabbed the phone. What do you want? Oh, the girlfriend. How sweet. What I want is simple. Liam honors his commitment to me. You disappear from his life. And little Daniel gets to keep breathing without oxygen support. You can't threaten a sick child. I'm not threatening. I'm offering a choice. You walk away. I make sure Daniel gets the best medical care money can buy. You stay, and well. Accidents happen. Medications get mixed up. Insurance claims get denied. The cruelty was so casual, it took Alina's breath away. Don't listen to her, Liam said. I'll find Daniel. We'll fix this. But Alina was already moving, grabbing her jacket. Where do I meet you? No, Liam said. Alina, no? The West parking garage? 1 hour. Come alone. Victoria hung up. Liam grabbed Alina's shoulders. You're not going. I'll handle this. She has my brother. And I will get him back. But not by letting you sacrifice yourself. This isn't your choice. Yes, it is. Because I love you. The words came out raw and desperate. I love you, and I'm not letting you walk into whatever trap she set. Lena froze. You don't mean that. I've never meant anything more in my life. Tears burned her eyes. Then you'll understand why I have to go. Daniel is all I have left of my family. I would die before I let anything happen to him. Then we'll both go. No, if we both go, she wins anyway. But if I go alone, if I agree to her terms, Daniel lives. You keep your company. Everyone gets what they need, except us. We were always a long shot, Liam. You said it yourself. You barely know me. That's not what I said. It's what you should have. She pulled away from him. Thank you. For everything, for making me believe even for a moment that fairy tales could be real. She walked out the door before he could stop her. Liam stood in the empty room, his world crumbling around him. Then he grabbed his phone and made a call. I don't care what it costs. I want everything on Victoria Chen. Every secret, every lie, every piece of dirt she's ever buried. And I want it in 30 minutes. If Victoria wanted to play dirty, he'd show her what happened when you threatened the only person who'd ever made him feel human. At the parking garage, Alina stepped out of the taxi, her hands shaking. Victoria stood beside a black SUV, Daniel visible through the tinted window. Smart girl, Victoria said. I knew you'd make the right choice. Let him go. I'll do whatever you want. Oh, I know you will. But first, we need to discuss terms. Sign them. Footsteps echoed through the concrete structure. Liam emerged from the shadows, a folder in his hand. I don't think that will be necessary, he said calmly. Victoria's smile faltered. I told her to come alone. I decided your rules don't apply anymore. He tossed the folder at her feet. Those are copies. Embezzlement from your father's company. Blackmail of 3 separate business partners. And my personal favorite, the bribes you paid to tank our competitors' deals. Victoria's face went white. That's not. It's all documented, time-stamped, verified. I've already sent copies to the SCE, your father's board of directors. He stepped closer. You threatened a sick child, Victoria. Did you really think I wouldn't burn everything down to protect them? You'll destroy your own company. Actually, I'll destroy yours. My company will survive. Your father's won't. Not after this goes public. You're bluffing. Try me. For the first time, fear crept into Victoria's expression. She looked at Alina, then back at Liam. This isn't over.
It is.
Let Daniel go, disappear, and maybe I won't press criminal charges. The SUV door opened. Daniel stumbled out, pale but unharmed. Alina ran to him, pulling him into her arms. Victoria got into the driver's seat, her hands trembling with rage. You'll regret this. The only thing I regret is not doing it sooner. She drove away. Tires screeching against concrete, Liam turned to Alina, who stood holding Daniel, tears streaming down her face. You could have lost everything, she said. I would have lost everything if I'd lost you. How did you get that information so fast? I've had investigators watching her for months. I just needed a reason to use it. He approached slowly. I'm sorry I didn't tell you about the engagement sooner. I'm sorry I let her get anywhere near your brother. But I'm not sorry for loving you. And I won't apologize for choosing you over a life that stopped meaning anything a long time ago. Daniel spoke up, voice weak but determined. For what it's worth, I like him, even if he is ridiculously dramatic. Despite everything, Alina laughed through her tears. Shut up, Daniel. Liam held out his hand to her. Come home? She looked at his hand, then at his face. At the man who'd just dismantled his perfectly constructed life for a waitress and her sick brother. We still have a lot to talk about. No, and I'm still scared. Me too. She took his hand, lacing her fingers through his. Then I guess we'll figure it out together. As they walked out of the parking garage into the breaking dawn, none of them noticed the black sedan parked across the street, or the man inside taking photos. Victoria wasn't finished. Not even close. 2 weeks of peace. Alina almost believed they'd survived the worst of it. Daniel's health stabilized. She found a new job at a bookstore near Liam's office. They ate dinner together most nights, the three of them forming something that felt dangerously close to family. Liam taught Daniel chess. Alina taught Liam how to cook pasta without burning it. Small moments that stitched themselves into something larger. But peace was always temporary. The news broke on a Tuesday morning. Alina's face was plastered across every tabloid. Gold digger seduces billionaire CEO. Inside the scheme to steal the Hayes fortune, the articles were brutal, detailed, and entirely fabricated. They claimed she'd researched Liam, planned the wallet encounter, orchestrated Daniel's illness to manipulate sympathy. Every kindness twisted into calculation. Every genuine moment reframed as performance. The cafe where she'd worked was interviewed. Her landlord from the old apartment. Even people she'd gone to high school with. Suddenly appearing with stories about her ambition and ruthlessness. None of it was true. All of it was believable. Liam found her on the balcony, the newspaper crumpled in her hands. "I'm handling it," he said immediately. "My lawyers are drafting defamation suits. We'll destroy every publication that printed these lies. It won't matter." Her voice was hollow. "The damage is done. People believe what they want to believe, then we'll prove them wrong. By parading our relationship around? By making me look more like what they're already calling me?" She turned to face him. "Your company's stock dropped 12% this morning. I checked. Stock prices recover, and your father called. Don't pretend he didn't." Liam's silence confirmed it. "What did he say?" She pressed. "Nothing that matters." "Liam," he exhaled sharply. He said, "I'm destroying everything he built. That I'm thinking with something other than my brain. That you're a distraction I'll regret in 6 months. Look at the facts. You're losing money. Your reputation is being dragged through the mud. Your own father thinks you've lost your mind." She laughed bitterly. "All because you picked up a woman who returned your wallet. All because I fell in love with someone real in a world full of people pretending. Love isn't enough. Liam, not when it costs this much. Then what are you saying?" The question hung between them, sharp as broken glass. Before she could answer, Daniel appeared in the doorway. His face was ashen, a piece of paper clutched in his hand. "Lena, we have a problem." The letter was from Immigration Services. Their visa status was being reviewed. Someone had filed a complaint alleging fraud, claiming Daniel's medical condition was exaggerated to remain in the country illegally. Victoria, Liam said immediately. "This has her fingerprints all over it. Can she even do that?" Alina asked. "With enough money and the right connections?" "Yes." He was already on his phone. "I'll call my immigration attorney. We'll fight this. And if we lose, you won't. But if we do, Daniel and I get deported. Back to a country we left when I was 17, where we have nothing and no one." Her voice cracked. "This is what loving you costs, Liam. My brother's health, our home, our entire lives. Then I'll come with you." "I'm serious. If they deport you, I'll follow. I'll figure it out and throw away everything. Your company, your family, your entire existence." She shook her head. "I can't let you do that. You don't get to decide what I sacrifice. You don't get to sacrifice yourself for someone who isn't worth it." "Ain't the words," detonated between them. Liam's expression crumbled. "Is that what you think? That you're not worth it? I think I'm a waitress who got swept up in something bigger than her. I think you deserve someone who fits your world. Someone who doesn't come with a dying brother and a target on her back. I don't want someone who fits my world. I want you. Why?" The question came out desperate, angry. "Why me? What is it about me that makes you willing to lose everything? Because when I'm with you, I'm not the Hayes name. I'm not a balance sheet or a stock price. I'm just a man who's scared and flawed and trying to figure out how to be better." His voice broke. "You see me, Alina, the real me, and you stayed anyway." Tears spilled down her cheeks. "I don't know how to do this. I don't know how to let someone in when every instinct says to run, then run toward me instead of away." He closed the distance between them. "Let me fight for you. Let me prove that you're worth every single thing I'm willing to lose. Daniel cleared his throat. I hate to interrupt, but I have something to say. They both turned to him. I'm tired, he said quietly. Tired of being the excuse. The reason you can't be happy, Lena? You've given up everything for me since Mom died? Your education. Your dreams. Any chance at a normal life? His eyes were wet. So here's what's going to happen. You're going to let Liam help us with the immigration thing? You're going to accept that sometimes love means letting people carry your burdens. And you're going to stop punishing yourself for wanting something good. Daniel, I'm not done. If we get deported, we handle it together. If Victoria comes after us again, we handle it together. But I am done watching you martyr yourself because you think that's what strength looks like. He looked at Liam. Stop treating her like she's fragile. She survived things that would have broken most people. Don't save her. Fight beside her. Silence settled over them. Then Alina started laughing, broken and wet and real. When did you get so wise? Around the time my sister started dating a billionaire and pretending it wasn't the most dramatic thing that's ever happened to us. Liam smiled despite everything. He makes a good point. He makes several good points. Lena wiped her eyes. I'm scared, Liam. I know. If we do this, if we really try, it's going to be messy. People will hate us. They'll keep trying to tear us apart. Let them try. Your father might never forgive you then. I'll learn to live with that. Victoria. His expression hardened. I'm done letting her control any part of my life. We'll get through the immigration review. We'll survive whatever she throws at us next. And if it all falls apart, then at least I'll know I fought for something that mattered. Alina looked at him, this man who'd dismantled his perfect life for a chance at something real. Then she looked at Daniel, who was trying so hard to be brave despite his fear. Okay, she said finally. Okay, we do this together. All of it. Liam pulled her into his arms and she let herself lean into him. Feeling the weight she'd carried alone for so long, finally being shared, Daniel joined the embrace. And for a moment, they were just three broken people holding each other up, forming something stronger than any of them could be alone. The next 6 months were brutal. Court dates and legal battles. Vicious articles and public scrutiny. Liam's company weathered the storm barely, then working 18-hour days to prove he could balance love and business. Victoria's schemes eventually caught up with her. The second investigation revealed worse than anyone expected. Her father's company collapsed. She fled to Europe, leaving behind nothing but wreckage and bitter threats. The immigration review cleared them. Turned out Victoria's complaint was filed with forged documents, another charge added to her growing list. Daniel's health continued to improve with proper treatment and less stress. He started online classes, talking about becoming a doctor someday, and Alina and Liam learned to navigate a relationship. It's built on truth and sacrifice, rather than fairy tale perfection. It wasn't always easy. Some of his colleagues still whispered. Some of her old friends asked pointed questions. His father came around eventually, grudgingly admitting that maybe his son hadn't lost his mind after all. 1 year after the wallet dropped on that autumn sidewalk, Liam found Alina on the same balcony where they'd had their worst fight. What are you thinking about? He asked, wrapping his arms around her from behind. How strange life is. How one small choice can change everything. Any regrets? She turned in his embrace, looking up at him. About us. Never. About the chaos we survived to get here. Sometimes, but mostly I'm grateful. For what? For the fact that you're terrible at holding onto your wallet, and that I'm terrible at minding my own business. He laughed, the sound rich and genuine. Best character flaws we could have had. Agreed. They stood together, watching the city light up as dusk settled around them. Two people who'd found each other in the mess of an ordinary morning and chosen each other every day since, despite the cost. I love you, he said quietly. I know. She smiled. I love you too. And in the end, that was enough. Not perfect. Not easy. But real, and real was worth fighting for. The end.